Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is George and today we are looking at a Great British Radio. Some people say these things are extremely desirable and collectible, and I guess they are. This particular set is called the Mayflower 2. No, not the Mayflower, which went over to America with all those moaning Pilgrim Fathers who didn't like the way they were treated. This one is by Hacker. The Hacker Mayflower 2. A big wooden box with a radio in it, or a wireless, depending on which generation you're from. What's so special about this particular radio? Well, the first thing is, it's mine. The second thing is, it's seen better days. It's not in the best of conditions. Yes, this came as a present from Mr. Paul from Cody's Radio Workshop, and I'll link to his channel up there. He came visiting in the early hours of the morning, one dark and stormy night.
Hello. Hi, my name's Cody's. You're awake.
And if that isn't suspicious, then it just gets better. Yes, let's take it to pieces and you can see exactly what the Hacker Mayflower 2 is all about. So before we look at the actual chassis, I just want to go through this cabinet. Now, the back is the usual British hardboard, cardboard, stiffened, and it has its warps and it has its the printing is all here. It actually says it's a Mayflower 2 FM radio receiver, RV20, made by Hacker Radio Limited, Cox Green, Maidenhead. And it is the final choice. It probably is. If you bought one of these, it was a fair old chunk of money. And you'd wonder whether it was the final choice you ever made when the wife said, "How much did you spend on that?" And she kills you because that was the household budget for the month. Back shows it's got an FM aerial socket, a sensitivity control, in and out, radiogram. It's actually got a gramophone input, radio output, tone controls on the back, external loudspeaker of 15 ohms, which carried over into their later transistor sets. The Hunter that I did previously also had a 15 ohm speaker, and it has the warning, always disconnect receiver from mains before removing the back cover. Well, I never plugged it in. Well, I did, but not recently. The front panel, it is Perspex. That's a brass trim. It's got a ding in it. This is veneered ply, I believe. It's no magical wood. They'd moved away from solid wood, especially for a cabinet this size. This one has got a very rough varnish finish on it. It's got some chips and some dings. There's no finish at all under this edge here, so whoever did it didn't obviously do the job properly. They just painted the bits they thought you could see. In the back, you have one of the largest speakers I've seen in a radio for a very long time. This thing it's a beast. It's bigger than my hand, which says something because I've got big hands. And you know what they say about man with big hands? He needs big gloves. It's also got a built-in FM antenna, which is made of copper strip running around the edge, linked together in the centre by a coil of wire. There's also a maker's card stapled to the inside here, which also has the valve complement written on it. And up in the top, we have the obligatory spider's webs and spider's nests. So, you know, if yours hasn't got those extra added spider's bits, then you must really complain to the manufacturers. Either that or you've been storing it really well. So then we come to the chassis itself. So we have a little wire pointer on a slider. We have the dial cord, which moves. We have a magic eye tube. We have an input transformer, so this is AC only. Filter capacitor, a fuse. We've got your voltage selector here. It's currently set to 250, 240, 250, which is kinder to the valves in the UK. Standard complement of valves. We have a pair of Are they ECL 86s by the looks of it? Yes, a pair of ECL 86s as a push-pull output pair. EB91 as the driver for those. EF80, another EF80 for the IF, EF89, and I'm going to bet that this would probably be an ECC 85. Numbering's worn off, which is again common on older valves. One thing before I turn it on, look at the length of that shaft. Come on, ladies, how many times have you seen anything with a shaft that long? I don't know any other radio sets that are like that. Do you? If you do, comment below. So yeah, your tuning mechanisms here could do with a lube. It's a little bit stiff. Pulleys all seem to be brass with a brass rivet through them. That's a double. In the bottom, these Allen Bradleys may well have drifted. I'm going to have to test these capacitors. Now, somebody's been in and changed some of the capacitors here for polys there. Electrolytics have been changed. There's a bridge wire there, which I will have to check out to see whether that should be there. The main filter cap is a single stage filter, as is this secondary one down here. It looks like we have standard Elka molds here, which generally at this age are beyond saving. We also have what looks like a selenium rectifier pack there, which may or may not be good. I will have to test the input and output. I may end up just replacing that with standard silicon diodes and working out what dropping resistors I need to put in to bring it down to normal levels. The power cable comes in. It's earthed to the chassis here, although I'm not particularly keen on the way that's done. Could well be factory, could well be not. That wire has got a little scorch mark on it. It's mounted to a bolt which is not independent. Now, at the time, that's not a problem when this was made. Regulations these days insist on a separate fixed point for earths and nothing else to be connected to it. There's not a lot of work to be done to this electronically by the looks of things. Apart from those two Elka molds, I may or may not need to change these filter capacitors. Who knows? These are standard high voltage capacitors there. They've been put in and, yeah, wire wrapped reasonably. The wiring generally is in good condition. I don't think there's much I'd have to change. Ah, no, there we go. Our good old friend, the Hunt's split and die caps there. That one's going between tone, I believe that is, and the chassis. The can on these is still negative, and this one, I'm not sure whether it's meant to touch the board or not. In fact, yes, it is, because that's an earth wire. In fact, somebody's bypassed this entire section. That wire jumps through and bypass. That is a bias that goes through. So somebody's actually made this fixed bias on one of the tubes. So we're going to have to look through this and figure out exactly what's going on, because that isn't right. So as chassis go, it looks pretty tidy. The fact that it's green, it's got a little bit of oil on it, a little bit of grease, we can clean this off. I don't think there's going to be a lot of work to do on this particular set. For now, I think we'll leave this as the first look. We can see that it's in reasonable condition. It's not perfect, but it's not a complete alien death box either. It needs to tidy up. I think that's going to be my first stage, to strip off the bits that I can, take the valves out, clean up the cans, test these on meters, make sure they're not leaky. If they're leaky, I'm going to have to change them. Make sure it's electrically safe all the way through and it is actually working as it should. Figure out what the bodge wire is. And once I've done all of that, we shall get on with the fun part of testing it and making sure everything's good. The cabinet will make a separate video. Let's see what it turns out like. Thanks very much for watching. If you do have any comments, down underneath, click the comments. Always pleased to receive comments. If there's something you want to see me do on this, or if there's something you think that I need to do before I do anything else, let me know. So that's the starting point with this particular unit. I don't think I'm going to go into much greater detail. I'll put links into Cody's channel. As I say, it will be up there. Don't forget to click like, click subscribe, click the bell icon for all your notifications so you'll find out when I actually get round to doing the next part of this video. I have other things in the pipeline as well, and hopefully we'll get this one cracked on and done fairly quickly. Anything else? Just drop me a line. Comments below. Easiest way for me to notice them. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.